The Hangman, very Piscean. The Hangman is it's a card that's usually associated with Pisces because this revolves around, or Neptune rather. The reason why it's considered to be very Neptunian is because it's about seeing something from a different perspective. Neptune is known for, for going around and changing, or it's all about surrender, right? And it'll change your perspective, warp things. It's the illusion of it, right? Dreams, fantasies, disillusionment, things like that. That takes focus off of the reality of something to see it from a different perspective. It's very, very Neptunian. What's underneath here is the Page of Swords. So you're on trying to see something from a different perspective after receiving more information about it. Again, with the Page of Swords, that's something that's regarding around receiving information. So right now, the process is that you stopped all sort of flow of movement because there's something that either you want to understand better for yourself, or there's something that is, or you can't necessarily move forward because there's nothing you don't see where to move forward to now, right, at least not right now. And it makes total sense because even though you have all this passion with the King of Wands, this could suggest as an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius that's in your life, someone that is very attractive and they've got a lot of energy about them. Even though this person is in your life, or maybe this is even you, right? You're possessing the energy of the King of Wands. You definitely feel more passionate, ready to do something, ready to go and express what you love, right? Being the expressor. You have the Seven of Pentacles here, so there is stoppage here in a sense. Same with the Hangman. You're seeing something from a different perspective, but usually with the Seven of Pentacles, this is reviewing what you've already done, looking at the work that you've put in and seeing whether or not this is something that either there's something more to do, trying to see if there's anything more you can get done, or perhaps this is suggesting that there's not much you need to do because you've already done what you needed to do. So, interestingly enough, you guys could be dealing with the Gemini. Mercury is coming up, and then you have Gemini energy, the Knight of Cups. Sorry, Knight of Swords coming up in your present, but I'm skipping ahead. The thing is I'm seeing, though, is that there is definitely something revolving reviewing and thinking and seeing something from a different perspective. And it's, again, no coincidence that Mercury's coming up here regarding all this. But it's the flow of communication, like I said. It's the flow of communication. And what I'm seeing is like stopping, stops. Everything stops. So there's no flow of communication. Or perhaps or you guys are trying to get the flow going because you notice that there's some things stagnant, but in order for it to move forward, there has to be no resistance. The High Priestess that came up with the Five of Pentacles, it would suggest that there was no resistance to something either being no longer remaining or something being missing. There was something here with the High Priestess which would suggest there is no resistance. The High Priestess does not resist. And what I see when the Hangman comes up and then the Mercury energy, there is no resistance. Okay, I think the most resistance I'm seeing here is the Four of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. I see that as the most resistance. To actually be honest, the Four of Pentacles will be the most resistant. The Knight of Swords is someone that's outputting information. This is someone that outputs information. This is retaining it and processing it. So this is the time where information is slowed down and reviewed. This is very Virgoan. Assessing what you have, kind of making a list of what you've done, and then trying to figure out what the next steps will be. What is there more to this relationship? Okay. Now, in the past, this would definitely refer to the Four of Pentacles as someone that's holding back or something that's being kept close because it's something precious to the individual. It took them a long time to get to this point. A place of stability, a place of consistency. It's maintaining something for this individual, but not necessarily to the degree in which they may deserve. You are the person that decides what you deserve. But the Four of Pentacles is someone that's holding on to dear life for something that they've worked very hard for, which is understandable. However, but they're not necessarily growing anymore. This represents someone that's sustaining something, that's keeping things even keel, but there's no movement forward. There's no progression. The Four of Pentacles declines progression because when progression is brought up, the only way this progression can be utilized is by leaving these Four of Pentacles behind, which this person was clearly not ready for. But this at the time, this is a past energy. So to me, this has already been done. The hard part of letting go of what this was is already been done, which is why we have the Knight of Swords here. Someone is coming in hot and heavy, ready to go to express something, to express a truth, to express some sort of message. But the thing is that the Knight of Swords is someone that's not necessarily good at listening. So at one point, there may have been a lot of hearing things out and a lot of declining, a lot of no, I'm good here. So all right, this is going to change. I'm ready to go. Let's go get it. But there's not a lot of listening here. The Knight of Swords is terrible at listening, and the reason why he's terrible at listening is because he's got a mission. He's got a mission. He's got a message to deliver. He's got a truth to express, and that truth sometimes is shoved down people's throats. I'm not saying that you're doing it. It could be that there's somebody around you that you feel that way. And it's very, very interesting is that the King of Wands, which would be Leo energy, can sometimes suggest, Sagittarian and Aries. You have Gemini right next to him. So it's almost like somebody came in, charging information, and you're trying to figure out what to do about this information because you've already done what you could do with what this individual is communicating, or you're trying to figure out what better way to express your emotions or express your truth for it to be heard, for it to be received, for it to be reciprocated. But I like how this progresses to the Eight of Pentacles, which would talk about working on something, hard work on something. Okay, but it's after what has been communicated is thoroughly processed. It's almost like you're trying to figure out what this individual is trying to tell you, so you can then work on it. Because right now, I think you've just been bombarded with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of information, a bunch of truth. Whatever this is, whoever was very adamant about communicating this way, they were expressing something. And then you're just trying to kind of make sense of what is being said. I think that's about the bottom line of it. Trying to make sense of what's being communicated, which is why you're sitting, why you have the Hangman. You have the information now, but you just need to understand it. Because either this person is not conveying that information very clearly, which the Knight of Swords is usually very good at doing. So either they're not conveying it clearly, or it's just so much and it's an inundation of it that you don't really know how to progress forward with it. And perhaps there's nothing to do. At least there's not much you can do for this individual. Maybe there's something you could do for yourself. I feel like the perspective may have to do with the self again, back to you. Not necessarily what to do for the person, but what to do for yourself regarding this. Which is why the Eight of Pentacles is coming up as hard work and effort. Right, you're putting your focus back down and working hard on what you know what you can do. Seven of Pentacles is like I did. I planted the trees. I've done everything, and I see that there's something starting to sprout up, and I don't really know what else to do, or I don't know how else I can do because it's not quite ready yet. There's a lot of patience with this, but you're waiting to get, I feel like some of you guys may be waiting to get something done or waiting for something to progress or process, but there's either somebody that's rushing the situation or someone that's trying to push the situation sooner than it needs to. And it's not going to click until there's something that needs to click with this. Okay, there's something here that can't click. So if somebody's rushing you, you can't force the situation to move forward because the Pentacles energy is going to go as slow as it can. It's going to go as slow as it needs to, rather. Not as slow as it can. Slow as it can would be saying that Pentacles energy tries to be slow on purpose. But no, things, in order for something to manifest in the physical, it has to take time. It doesn't actually happen immediately, like somebody snapping to a different perspective or a certain way of thinking, and they can just spout off what they know from what they believe. This is something that's going to be something you feel, you touch, you have, you handle, and you deal with in your day-to-day in a physical form. And I feel like there's a lot of work toward it, but there's not much to do because the intention has already been set. The work has already been done, and now just patience is needed. The Mercury card doesn't necessarily just have to do with communication or the mind. Like I said before, it has to do with speed too. It's one of the fastest planets that go around the sun. So with Mercury coming up like this, there's a lot of things moving fast, a lot of things being thought very quickly, but nothing's like matching that sort of mental progression, the mental speed. You got 3 pentacles here that would suggest that there's something coming into fruition. There's something manifesting itself, and you had a version of it at one point, and you've put your foot down and you started running towards what you truly want, or making this stride to make whatever this 4 of Pentacles was bigger. And now you're in the direction of trying to make this real, make this a reality. But of course, there in between is this understanding, or this needing to understand something. Perhaps understand what you want, your passions, or to do something that's fun, to do something that you enjoy, to remember to have fun, or to be more active with it, or something regarding the actions of a King of Wands, which would suggest taking action, putting forth your ideas, expressing your emotions, expressing your truth. This could do with being passionate. The King of Wands is not very patient either. And I feel like perhaps there is this restless energy, but you have no other choice but to be patient. Like, you can't rush it as much as you would like to. You can't rush this, which is why the Hangman is here. Something's someone has pumped the brakes, or there's a pumping brake situation, stagnancy, being stuck in limbo, because there's something that needs to be understood about either your passions, what you want, or the King of Wands, someone that's in your life that's either very adamant about doing something, very impatient, or someone that you find attractive and you want to be with them physically, but that takes time for that to happen. So you continue to just work with what you have, work with what you've got, and focus on that to the best of your ability. So something tells me that maybe you had them in the past or in their present before, but it was something that didn't really last very long, obviously. You had them for some period, you held on to dear life, and you appreciated this energy. One of the things I could definitely say is that with the 4 of Pentacles, I feel like, personally, that the 4 of Pentacles truly appreciates his Pentacles. The fact that he doesn't want to let them go, I feel like is a part of his appreciation, as well as his, his fear of leaving the work that he's worked so hard for. But then the Knight of Swords fights for what he wants, fights for his truth, fights for what he believes in. But he's led to this halted period where he's coming to realize the work that's being done has already been done, and he's seen the progress of it, but it's patience now that's going to be needed. That, or a complete diversion of his focus, because honestly, sitting here and waiting on something will make it seem like you're waiting longer. So there may be something here that you could work on instead, which is why the 8 of Pentacles, in my eyes, is coming up. Not saying that you're being impatient and you're not waiting patiently enough for whatever this is, but perhaps there's something else that you can work on while something else is in the process of growing, in the process of building. So it's interesting that your crowning energy is the 6 of Cups, because this would suggest looking at the situation from rose-tinted glasses, or this is a time of remembering it. This is suggesting that you will be remembering a time before of a loss of innocence. But I feel like, too, it's like just kind of being in the moment. There's a soulmate. It could suggest a soulmate connection. This could also suggest that there is something romantic about the relationship that can honestly be appreciated right now with this person. This could indicate a soulmate energy. But I feel like most importantly, this is really just about remembering a time when you were happy, and remembering what you actually were trying to do in the first place. Because in the past, whatever this 4 of Pentacles was, you were content with for a little bit. At least I think so. But the 6 of Cups would honestly suggest to me that this is about remembering a time when you were happiest. Not focusing on what you don't have. Because the 5 of Cups could suggest that you may be focusing on what no longer is there. But the 2 of Cups saying, hey, I'm here, I'm relevant, I'm present, work with me. But the High Priestess is not aware of this, or the High Priestess is actually very aware for the sign that sign, but for the card that she is, she's very aware. She may be the keeper of secrets, but she is aware of those secrets, and she knows what those secrets are. You know the secrets too. And that's cool, right? I think it's pretty cool that you know the secrets already. But the thing is that the secret that you need to utilize at this point, or the secrets that could be utilized for the betterment of yourself and your relationship, is what you have currently, not what you don't have. So whatever this loss, whatever you let go of here, whatever had to be let go of here, whatever was fought in the present, whatever's being fought right now, it may be that there is something that needs to be worked on so that way you can return back to this pleasing energy. So you can manifest what you've been waiting for, or you can continue the process in which you've been waiting for. Because there's something that's on pause right now. Something's on pause until it's resumed. It hasn't worked yet. It hasn't started working yet, but it is in progress. It's just that maybe you have to see that it's in progress in a totally different, from a totally different angle, or do something else as you wait for this to continue to manifest and grow to something bigger. But the mind, the communication from Mercury here is saying that the way that you go overcome a lot of your struggles, a lot of your situation has to do with talking, not thinking, but talking, exchanging of information. And perhaps even asking what you may be missing. But communication, connecting with this person, the King of Wands, if this is not you, I feel like the biggest thing here is suggesting that there is progress to be made after communication has been made, proper communication. I don't know if this is necessarily the right communication, but there's nothing wrong with believing in what you believe and fighting for that. This doesn't have to be an argument either. This could be you expressing your feelings to somebody that's not that's on the fence anyway. That's not quite ready to go into the relationship phase or something like that, or maybe not ready to quite move on or move forward yet, and you are ready though. And that's totally fine, coming from an authentic place of expression. The Knight of Swords will always do that. So perhaps communicating your truth is what's being suggested here. Like reminding the person or yourself of the relationship that you have. It's loving and sweet and endearing and rich with a bunch of emotion. And even this is an ex, right? Getting them back, whatever it is. As long as you're coming from an authentic expression, it is what it is. But I feel like if you're waiting and holding on to this perspective of I'm not going to communicate first, I'm not going to make any adjustment first, you're always going to be waiting. Be the person. I think the you can and you have the desire to be the person to just take the action, because you have two people here that are action takers. King of Wands and Knight of Swords. They take action all the time. And the only thing that's the reason why there's stagnant energy is usually because the person that's being read for is the person that's stopping the situation. Not saying, so you have put it on hold, not in a way of a blame, but whatever you've put on hold doesn't have to be. I kind of get that vibe too. I kind of get the vibe that, whatever you have on hold doesn't have to stop. It doesn't have to be on hold. It's just, is there resistance to expression? Is there resistance to expression? Are you waiting for someone to do something for you first before you take action? Because if so, that's not authentic expression. And the King of Wands, Knight of Swords, they're all being authentic. They're being real and they're being truthful to who they are in the moment. And if you have the desire or the push to do it, what is compelling you to hold on? What's keeping you from doing it? And why, if this is about the other person saying something first, why do you need them to communicate first about something that doesn't have anything to do with your authentic expression? Why would your authentic expression be based off of someone else's authentic expression? That's not authentic. That's artificial. And everything here is suggesting reality. And I'm not saying that you're doing this, but if this is the case, that this resonates with you, the question does then become raised: what does it matter what other people think if you think the way you do? And that is it, right? If you are being you, what does it matter? What does it matter from the other person what they think? How does how they feel or think or go forward in their life have anything to do with how you feel or want to express to the other person? If the excuse is, or the idea is, oh, well, I don't want to subject them with my feelings or that my truth, that's not necessarily for you to control. You think and feel however you want to feel. If you feel like you don't really want to express it, you don't have to express it. But waiting for someone else to express their feelings to you before you expressing their feelings to them, how is that expressing authentically? You do it without notice. You do it without any expectation. That's what that's the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is not doing this with expectation. He's doing it with intention. The King of Wands is always about intention. What is he intending to do? What is he intending to do? To express his truth. What is the Five? Even the Eight of Pentacles is expression and stuff. It's intention too. It's putting his intention. It's something that does involve, taking action. Knight of Swords. He's not thinking or hearing anyone out. He's thinking about what he wants to communicate, and that is it. If anybody wants to say anything about it, sweet. He probably won't hear it anyway, because all he cares about is what he wants to think and say. So if you have something that you want to say or speak, what is the resistance? What is holding you back? What is making you feel like you can't express it? And are these legitimate reasons, or are these reasons that keep you from being rejected? Because the Five of Cups can sometimes be a rejection.